Hello everyone, it's Katie here from the Scrappy Sisters, and I am back with another 9x12 layout today for my album, and it features a photo of myself and my nephew. We were just hanging out in the garden and my sister grabbed a couple of snaps, and I've printed off the same photo in colour and black and white because at this point I'm not sure which one I want to use. So I'm actually scrapping with the March Kitaholic kits, and holy cow, I love these kits. This month is just whoa, it's amazing. I think I have no joke, probably made about 14 layouts. I'm not even joking. So I started with using the Colour Blast colour sprays, and I just sprinkled them onto the layout, and now as you can see I've got my heat tool out and I am drying the layout. It did warp my paper slightly, but not enough that I was particularly worried about it, and I just really wanted to do the layout and I didn't want to wait for it to dry naturally, so that was my only option. You can see now I'm just checking if it's dry. There's a few big splotches that aren't dry, so I get out my baby wipe and just soak a couple of those up. I do a little smudge, and you'll see me flip the paper around. That's why I flipped the paper around, because I smudged one of them and I knew it would be covered up in my photo. So there you go. I'm just waving the paper again just to, completely dry it off. I have to say that this is a big call, but I think this might possibly be my favourite layout of all time so far that I have created, obviously. I did see this layout on maybe a Studio Calico blog. I don't know, I was cruising Pinterest. And anyway, I did see it there, so I did. It is a scraplift, and if I can find the original layout, I'll credit it down below, because there's nothing worse, I don't think, than scraplifting someone's layout and you can't remember whose layout that is. So I'll try and remember to find it and link it down below. So I am just picked a piece of pattern paper from the kit that I'm going to put down the left hand side and kind of anchor my butterflies to it. So I fussy cut those butterflies out of one of the papers this month, which was beautiful. And then you'll see me start to lay out my butterflies. So there's no particular order to these. I did cut out a few that were like the ones on the side of the paper, so they were like a half butterfly. I did cut out some of those, and I do end up using them, which is pretty cool. So you can see there are the half ones that I've cut out there. So you can see me there, I've laid them out, and I'm pretty happy with that placement. I still haven't decided if I wanted a black or white or coloured photo. I don't decide until a little bit later on. And so I'm going to stick these down. I'm editing this part out. As you can see, waha, magic, all stuck down. I figured you didn't need to see me stick butterflies down. So I've stuck them down so that their wings are, for the most part, still kind of able to be manipulated, because I wanted a bit of dimension to the layout. And then I pulled out the other butterfly related things that came in this kit. So there were these 4 cork butterflies with adhesive on the back, so I've stuck those down in the layout. And then there was a whole heap of tiny wood veneer butterflies as well, so I've added a few of those to the layout too. At this point I was like, holy cow, I am like vomiting butterflies onto this page. And it doesn't end here. But as I said, big call, but I think this is possibly my favourite layout of all time. So that tells you something. I really love how this turned out, even though it's like a vomit of butterflies on the page. I'm hoping you guys like it too. I'm talking myself up here, but for me personally, it is my favourite layout. So now I'm just pulling out some of the random, this is like layout number 12 or something of these kits. So I didn't have a lot left. So I've pulled out all the random little bits of paper from the kit, and I've laid it out because I'm thinking I'm going to do some kind of strip of paper backing on the photo. This is the point where I decided to go with the black and white photo, probably because I have a lot of colour on this page, like a lot of colour, and I'm trying to work out, I think the black and white photo goes best, and I agree. I'm glad I picked the black and white. I do decide I want to back it on this sort of black and white spotted paper, but you don't see much of it. It's a very small amount that sticks out, but I just felt like it did need some matting. So I've done that, and now I am going to piece those long strips of paper behind. So again, I'm still just sort of deciding how I want these things to work. I've got an idea in my head, but yeah, as I said, I did draw inspiration or scrap lifted this layout. So if I can find the original, I will link it down below because it'll give you a much better idea of the look I was going for, because I did copy it, and they did a lot of paper layers bigger than this, in fairness. But I chose small pieces because that's what I had left in my kit, so it does take a long time. I don't make you sit through all of this, but I did want to show you a little bit because I kind of show you a bit of my thought process as we're going. So at this point, I'm not sure if I want the layers to be kind of uneven. You see me there? I'm just trying to decide, do I want them uneven? I've cut them down. Do I want them to be even? I'm still not quite sure. I'm thinking about it a lot while I'm just sitting staring at that while I decide. And I still haven't decided it by this point, so I'm just keeping on going with the layers, and I'll come back to this idea of, do I want them to be even? Do I want them to be uneven? So you can see here, I'm just, choosing random bits and sticking them behind, trying to kind of, even out the coloured strips a little bit so that they're not all the same colour beside each other. I really like this butterfly piece that was in the cutter parts that Deb created this month, and it's around this point, I think, that I decide that maybe I do want to cut these strips down. I'm trying to decide here too, am I going to keep going with this or am I going to stop with these? So you can see here I've cut them down, and then in a minute I cut them down even more, so that it really is just a small layer peeking through. And I really like how that looks, and I decide, luckily I liked how that looks because I'd already cut it down, so I'd committed. So at this point I will edit the rest of this sticking down because really you don't need to see it now that I've decided what I'm doing, but I thought I would leave that piece in just so you could see my kind of thought process as I was going. So I've just, by the power of editing, stuck down the last bit of strip there, and now I'm going to cut down the sides so that they're roughly even, and trim those down. So I really like how this looked. It took a long time, but I'm glad I did it because I'm really pleased. I think it fits with the really, the lots of colour happening on the left hand side with the butterflies. I think it really fits with the paper, kind of thin layers like that, or thin strips like that, to create another layer. I'm just popping the photo up now on some foam dots. Again, probably should have edited this bit out. Probably don't need to see me pulling the backing off the foam dots, but anyway, that's alright. So as you can see here, I've stuck my photo down. I committed to the black and white photo, and I'm glad I did. And then I liked the photo in the top right corner, leaving some room for a bit of a title down below. I don't journal on my 12x12 layouts very often, or my 9x12 I should say, and that is mainly because the way I do my album is I usually do well, in the past I've done monthly project life or pocket page scrapbooking, but this year I'm actually trying weekly for the first time, and so I put my 9x12 full page layouts in the same week as kind of the week that corresponds with the photo, and I've usually done my journaling within my project life spread, so I don't re-journal onto my larger pages unless there's something particularly sort of that I wanted to say about the photo that I haven't said in my weekly layout. Then I will journal, but 9 times out of 10 you won't see me journal on my either 12x12 if I'm working on my older albums, or if I'm working on my 2017 album, my 9x12 layouts, because I don't love journaling on my full layouts. It's mainly because I don't love my handwriting, and I see these as more like artworks almost, and I keep my journaling for my pocket page or project life pages. So I talked right through that cluster. I just created a little cluster up in the top right, again using butterflies, keeping with the butterflies theme, hence the continuation of the vomiting of butterflies onto the page. But I did use one of the large kind of flag wood veneers that says XOX. Might have stuck that down the wrong way. Ah, well, it can be, what is it? Kiss hug. It can be hug kiss. who cares? And a couple of little wood veneer butterflies as well, and then I created a similar kind of embellishment cluster in the bottom left. A couple of the wood veneer butterflies as well as a few of the other butterflies down there. Now, believe it or not, I'm not a big fan of sequins. I don't know how to use them. I don't have a fuse tool, so I can't create shaker pockets, and I just find them really a bit and I don't love sticking them on my page, but I thought I probably should use them. They did come in the kit, and so I decided to sprinkle some around this layout, and I do really like the way that it looked, so I think I might have to try and do that a bit more often. I mean, with sequins you just get hundreds of them, so I don't know how you can possibly use them all unless you create a shaker pocket. But anyway, that's by the by. I did put them on this layout. I did use some of them, and I sprinkled them down the strip of butterflies and also in the two little clusters. And then once I've stuck these on and I've sort of cleared my workspace a bit, it's kind of comes to that point in time where I need to decide on a title. And I really loved how my layout was looking right now, and I kind of toyed with the idea of not actually doing a title because I was really happy with how it looked. And so I pulled out the thickers that came in the kit. As you can see, I've used a lot of them, so my even the words that I could make with those thickers were limited. Now obviously I could have grabbed some thickers from my stash, so this is me with my hands going, what can I do for a title? So I edited out the part where I was thinking, and I probably thought for a good 10 minutes of what this title might be, and then I went for the simplest title anyway, and mainly because I don't know, I didn't want to ruin the layout with a corny title or anything that, so I just went with love. And I know that's corny title, but yeah, I just didn't want anything too big. I didn't want it to take away much, and yeah, I do really love how it turned out. So I'm slowing the video down to give you close-ups, and I did stick that wood veneer flag up the wrong way. Oh well. Anyway, as I said, I loved this layout. I really do think it's one of my favourite layouts of all time. Just putting it out there. I hope you have had a marvellous day. I hope you're enjoying scrapping, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys.